All right, y'all. So we in episode 4 of working with at Nordstrom and the mastery of, necessarily, so to speak, service, and why working at Nordstrom was as challenging as it was. And some of the skills was definitely always about service. And I'm such a leader in the aspect that, mentally speaking, it's very difficult to run game on somebody who's a gamer. And I don't even mean Xboxes and all that. Like, mentally strong strength thinking patterns is a game. So where you're thrust in these environments where the whole entire focus is serve, you're going to run into moments that are not just only geared towards serving and service. But I've learned that most of the time that's not a big deal. But there are rare occasions where people come in and that service goes out the window. What does that mean? That means that people can come in with very insidious of thoughts. That means they're very simple. And it appears that they're coming to get service. And that's where the hiccups begin. Because the appearance is what is not actually taking place. What's taking place is a little bit more sinful. They come in to give off that aura so that it doesn't look negative. Because nobody ever wants to come across as a villain. Nobody wants to be the villain. Nobody ever wants to come across as being the villain. And this is why, because it is derogatory. It is a negative thought to have. As soon as you take away the service and you make it about doing something to someone else to get what you want, that service thought, put it back, goes out the window. To tell you, just stop it. That means that instead of really being kind to the service person that you're asking to get these things from, you're starting to derail and go off the proper path. And that's where some of the things are really in that icky space is at. People should behave in a thankful manner. And, I really just learned this lesson very well over these last few months here. And what it is that they're wrong, totally wrong. But the service cannot stop. That's what I've learned. They have been totally, oh my God, barbaric. Just straight up, just smile in your face, and as soon as you blink they hate it. And I mean, it's amazing to see it. It's amazing. Like, I mean, they think they clever, they witty, Lord forbid they get anything that makes them feel like they got some type of power, and they just take it, totally don't even know, and it shows that you have a pure lack of understanding. Simple as that. And that is the worst kind of scenario to find yourself in. Surrounded with people who know that no matter what they do, you have to treat them with kindness, because that means that they're willing to do anything and you can't do anything. It's so silly. The wronger they are, the nicer you have to become. That's what service is all about. Literally biting your tongue when they lash you 50 million different times with theirs. That's what customer service is. That is what Nordstrom taught me. They really allow me to see that a customer can cuss you from here to Mexico to the peak of the mountains in damn Nebraska, Mount Michigan, or wherever else, and you better keep a smile on your face. That's the 5-star service. Even though those words cut quicker than a wick and a candle burns out, that ain't worth a damn. And you can never, ever deviate from the customer is right. No matter what they have said, because they always saying something. No matter what it is they have done, Lord forbid they can't get their way. no matter what it is that they put on their faces as an expression. Because Lord forbid, you have a smile and you walk on about your business. Even in the midst of all of those derogatory thoughts and thinking patterns, you have to maintain that same persona that, yeah, you wrong, but I got to continuously act as though you're right and treat you with dignity and grace. That's the 5-star customer service. And that's what I've just learned. I've just learned how to necessarily do that. And it's not been an easy battle. And anything worth having, again, everybody who knows me knows that I'm always going to say, I'm never going to be the person that says anything other than, girl, yeah, no, that was a bit much. Or, yeah, what they said was lightweight. Yeah, that was a little bit of a trip. I'm not going to allow you not to have that. That's being inauthentic, because we all know how hard dealing with someone who's really hell-bent on causing you harm is. It's not easy. Now, what does that mean for my girlies who, just really want to go in on things and just change the world and make everything a better place? Still do those things. Still feel as though that's something that you can achieve for and strive for to do. But just make sure that in the midst of those things, when they come to try to deter you from doing those things, that you remain true to yourself and simply, let them say those things and continuously to still treat them with the respect that is ingrained in you, not them. Okay? Because it's not going to go anywhere. They're going to continuously behave that way. You can turn blue in the face, and they will continuously choose the derogatory thought every time. So it's best to continuously, even though they do those things, to show up in the brightest manner. And that's just what it is, you know what I mean? And if everybody else has a problem with that, if everybody else is going against you because of that, just know that eventually you will find yourself in your place that people actually resonate with your thoughts. And you just have to have the patience and the perseverance, the persistence, and the consistent thoughts repeatedly, even in the midst of those who do not want you to have it. And then eventually you will see yourself there. Eventually you will find yourself there, at the spot, at the place, at the space, at the intersection, at the injunction, at the conjunction, at the conjuncture that you have been dreaming and manifesting, even in the midst of all of the people who were just wanting you to suffer in those moments of their weaknesses that are their own. And even in the midst of all those things, because they coming, they have been here, they have came around, twist back and forth, and then made a U-turn and double back. And you had to necessarily, regardless, even in the midst of all of that, continuously smile, give the best service, even though you know they're wrong. That is why you have seen the things that were resonating so with your inner ideal woman, because you chose to do those things. Everybody else probably is not going to do those things. I had a cousin who hated retail, and I get it. It's not really that easy. It's not easy to work with people. It's not easy to express your thoughts and still serve somebody else. It's not easy to be around somebody and have their own thoughts and thinking patterns as well as yours, especially when they clash or when they're of a different stature or status. You have the upper class, middle class, lower class, social economic statuses and things of that nature. I never understood the big wigs who were just so big where they were no longer willing to talk to people who they considered beneath them. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I'm a CEO and, you just a little hourly thing. So, I have no need to come down here to speak with people such as you. Those people, you can tell that they really have grown into air that says, okay, you seemingly, in my own opinion, have become a little less humble and have chosen to forget some things that actually put you on. And maybe those people are still hungry. Maybe that's where you need to repay your visits to. And at the end of the day, whether you do or you're not, it's going to ultimately reflect back on you. And that's where we kind of sort of have to learn how to focus, put our energy into that particular idea pattern. Because when you really focus on having an impact and change in the light matter that's a positive stature, that's really ultimately where you want to focus your and place your energy. And that's just my own take on it. You know, everybody's entitled to whatever their opinions are and whatever their thoughts and ideas may be. But please like and subscribe to the video, as well to our content, to our channel. If you're interested for more, that'll be really appreciative and grateful for those type of things as well. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and I'll see you all again in the next one below. Thank you all for watching. Have a good day. Bye.